Hey guys, my name's Jess and I'm watching Soulful Discussions.
All right, so hi, and how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing great. I'm doing great. So, real quick, just kind of give the people on my channel a little background, kind of how like I ended up getting in touch with you and everything.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So pretty much it was obviously through social media, Instagram, and I came across the page that said Soulful Discussions, right?
Uh huh.
That's
Yep.
how
Yep. Yep.
okay. Um and I was like, okay, let me see what it's about.
Hmm.
So because I do modeling, I am always very, keeping up with my messages and requests and stuff. So I came across and I just like to investigate on my own, like your profile and
Yep.
see what it's about. So it was definitely eye catching because I seen there's like videos, like your pictures of the girls at a park, and
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, something very different from what I'm used to.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if you're very professional and just, so I felt very comfortable to be able to respond back
Absolutely. That's
and
dope.
now create an engagement.
Absolutely.
So
That's really
I
dope. And
love
thank
that.
you. Thank you for responding back.
Yeah,
A lot of times I can do this, and then sometimes never respond,
of course, it
which is all cool
happens. It
too.
happens.
Absolutely. But I always feel like I meet the people and get in touch with the people I'm supposed to like have on
Yes,
the channel.
everything aligns towards the end. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what kind of made you like want to like come out and do it? Because you kind of said you kind of took a look at my content
Yes.
and everything. But what kind of made you feel like, okay, cool, this seems like somebody I can kind of work with?
No, yeah. I mean, I feel like even through, I don't know if people feel the same way, but based off my experience of
Mm-hmm.
me doing that on my own, of like just kind of going through people's profiles, and
Yeah.
I kind of go off energy off the page. I don't know if that's
Yeah. Yeah.
weird, but people kind of then do relate when I tell them like you could kind of go off people's vibes and energies
100%.
off a profile.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I'm very spiritual and in tune with that.
Yeah.
So I felt good vibes off
Nice.
your page. So, and I love to just do different things,
Yeah. Try different
I
things.
like to navigate into different just journeys and just, expose myself to just different opportunities.
Yeah.
And I said, why not?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm glad,
Yeah.
because look,
Absolutely.
I'm here now and I'm able to do something quite different than what I'm used to, but very much still feels natural to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I was gonna kind of ask you this before we even started the interview, but I was like, let's save it for the interview.
Mm-hmm.
How did you first get into like doing modeling and all those types of things?
So the way that I started was because I do makeup,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working with like me doing makeup. I came across models,
Okay.
so I was on set with models. It all started off a luxury type of magazine for like Rolls Royce and stuff.
Yeah.
So the owner was like, "Hey, I think you need to be on the opposite side of what you're doing," and I'm like,
Okay.
what? So it went from me doing makeup for models on set, and then I just gave myself the opportunity to try it out, and I loved it.
Nice.
I love being in front of cameras. I'm very social,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I can just engage with people. So
Nice.
that was a little easier for me,
Okay.
and I was like, you know what? Why not do both? So
Yeah.
I did makeup for models, and I obviously would, network,
Yep.
and it just opened so many doors to other opportunities in the modeling industry.
That's dope.
So
And so let me ask you this because like sometimes so I go out and I interview and cold approaches. Sometimes there can be some women who I interview that get uncomfortable, and
mhm.
especially like I think with being in their own skin or insecurities, things like that.
Yeah,
How did you get to a point? Because were you always like that, like kind of comfortable in your own skin, or did it like develop over time?
it developed.
Okay.
It developed because growing up, I was very skinny.
Okay, I see.
So I was just always petite,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And I mean, I feel like within the years, everything changes with, surgeries and
Yeah.
cosmetic procedures. But thankfully, because I've been very strong, as personality wise, have thick skin.
Yeah.
So when people would be comparing each other and I would hear that on set, it didn't get to me
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm thinking if they do it to them or to other people, I think they can do it to me,
Yep.
of judging me for my looks or something. But I always told myself if I was asked to be on set, it was for a reason. It's not always the appearance. A lot of people have the looks, but they don't have a personality.
Attitude sometimes. Yeah.
So it's the attitude approach
Uh-huh.
on things,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I can do this, I'm like, I gotta believe in myself. I'm here for a reason. And I think it always goes more above, beyond than just looks.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's all about the confidence.
That's
It's
dope.
just projecting that, believing in yourself, and that's taken me a long way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So let me ask you this: have you? I mean, because you just mentioned right now, like you grew up being skinny and petite. Was that like an insecurity for you, or was it just more something that people paid attention to, and then you were like aware of, like, oh, okay, like because I think sometimes when it's us ourselves, we don't see ourselves that way until somebody else says
Yes.
something to us, right?
And it wasn't necessarily because other people. It
Yeah.
was out of, I guess, like body dysmorphia. As a woman,
Oh, I
we
see.
go through that,
Yeah.
those stages in life at some point. And because I was just going through different phases in my life of like I was in a relationship and then you have a toxic relationship
Yep.
and now you're just don't feel in tune with yourself, you don't feel confident, they break you down. So that was the thing. I was going through that because of a relationship,
I see.
not necessarily because of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have high expectations.
Yep.
We have to, keep up with our skincare. We have to have all that, our eating habits
Yep.
of just maintaining a certain weight, a certain image. But thankfully, I've always on my profile always show what the reality is of me.
Absolutely.
I don't have procedures done. So whoever hires me knows that what they see is what they get. You know what I
That's
mean?
great.
And I don't like to portray something I'm not. So definitely, it wasn't because of the industry. It was because of the personal situations I was encountering.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely now that I go to the gym, I have way more, confidence.
Absolutely.
And yeah, but that was pretty much what it was about with the whole body dysmorphia going on.
Got
It
it.
was definitely because of personal situations.
Got it. Got it. Let me ask you this: in terms of anxiety, is there anything that brings you anxiety? And if so, like, do you have any like coping mechanisms, things you do to like counteract how you're feeling, like when you feel that happening?
Anxiety, not really.
Okay.
And if I do feel, maybe I think it's more like stress
Stress
that I
related.
feel
Okay.
that I do deal with more.
Okay.
But like I said, it's just having to balance everything within your life, which is work, family, your own personal social life, everything. But as far as anxiety, I wouldn't say I really encountered that,
Okay.
thankfully. But I do come across a lot of people that deal with it though.
Yeah.
And definitely I hear that their coping mechanisms is different. Some people choose the gym, some people music, different, learning a new skill. But or some people just drown themselves in alcohol. They deal with it very differently, But yeah, for me, stress for sure. How I deal with it, it would be the gym.
That's dope. Okay.
It's my escape.
Yeah, so,
You
yeah.
know what
For
I
me, it's
mean?
like I come home, and usually work can be pretty stressful because you literally using my mind a lot for a lot of things. So usually when I come home, I want to unplug that.
Yes.
So what I usually do is either video games or I watch anime. Like those are like my go-tos, and usually I can decompress from that because I'm not worried about that stuff anymore. I'm
Yes.
just more
It's
out
your
of that.
outlet. You know what I mean? To
Absolutely.
just
Playing
escape for a
basketball
quick.
too is like that.
Yeah, and that's something. And those are things that if that helps you out, it's great. You know what I mean? And it's nothing wrong with it. Some people have said they go down a different path,
Yeah.
and it's much more negative.
Yep.
So I feel like everyone, copes with things differently. But for me, for sure, I've learned that the gym has been the best way. Even if I probably, and that's the thing, that's a good question because sometimes we don't know how to differentiate the anxiety with stress. It's just,
We think it's the same
we think
thing.
it's the same thing
Yeah.
sometimes. So maybe I have probably dealt with anxiety, but because thankfully gym helps with many things, I feel like it's just been my outlet.
Absolutely. That's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, kind of get into this more. So, like, what are your thoughts about your own feet? Like, what do you think first thing comes to your mind?
I used to hate them.
You used to hate them. Oh, okay.
The reason is the same with my feet and my hands.
Okay.
I always have told my mom this, my family, everyone. I'm like, if I don't have my nails done,
Yeah.
I feel like I have man hands.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I compare my hands to my dad.
Yeah.
So the same with my feet. I feel like
Okay.
I have a lot of those features like my dad. Like I feel like it's so wrinkly, like, it's not soft all the time. And
Okay.
same with the feet. I feel like if I don't get them done, I feel like I have man feet. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Wow, okay.
So that's something I've always thought about.
So was that like an insecurity for you growing up? Like were you mindful of it?
I
Or
was
it just
mindful.
More like you were mindful of it. Yeah.
Yes.
So and
Very
was it like an
mindful.
insecurity for you? Like, damn, like.
To this day, I do not like to wear sandals that just have to have your toe.
Yeah.
It has to be the whole, like.
The whole thing. That's interesting.
That's
okay.
something that I've always.
So is that something that you still kind of deal with, or is it more like you've kind of gotten over it a little?
A little over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What helped you get through get through that?
I think it's just accepting your flaws, your imperfections, your, I think it's like if you're going to build that confidence on something, which is like, let's say feet for me, it's just definitely just accepting it. It's just about being like, you know what? I'm blessed to have feet. And they might not be the cutest, right? In my head, I'm thinking that, but I'm like, but I have feet, you know what I mean? And I can move around. And I mean, once I get a pedicure, I'm just like, okay, I don't really think about it too much. That part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because I always remember a parable. My pastor, when I was younger, he would always tell this parable about there was a guy who was like complaining about not having shoes. He was like, I don't have any shoes, and that was a big thing. And then it wasn't until one day he looked over and saw the guy with no feet. Then he's like, it's like those things put things into perspective for you. He's like, what if I didn't have feet and I couldn't walk and I couldn't do all these things that I want to do, and I was at the mercy of somebody else or having to use different things to get what I need to get done. So like, you're absolutely correct about that. It's like sometimes it's just being grateful for. It's like, just grateful. These two things. Yes, absolutely.
And while I was at the salon, right, the lady next to me was just, I seen her and her whole mood changed.
Yeah.
And she was like, my feet never feel good, never feel cute, never feel just nice. I'm like, why? And she was like, because I always wear boots for work. So I feel like it just wears out my feet and it leaves them really dry and everything, right? And I'm like, so how do you feel now with the pedicure? She goes, I love my feet.
Yeah.
I'm like, me too. I'm like, we're on the same boat.
That makes me feel better.
I'm like, I feel so much better now. I'm like, I feel just more feminine. I feel more relaxed. I feel my toes feel cute.
Nice.
You know what I mean? She was like, yeah, I agree with you too. So I'm like, it's crazy what little things can just definitely change your perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Have you ever received compliments? Has anybody ever complimented you about your feet before? Has anybody ever said to you, I think you're...
Yeah, they have. Okay. And it shocked me.
Okay. Oh, so it's shocking to you. You're like...
I was like, what?
What are you looking at?
I'd be like, stop.
So let me ask you this though. So and like in the moment you're saying that, like you laughed about it and you were kind of like, what like is really going? But did you accept it as like, okay, that's cool that somebody's complimenting about it?
Yes.
Make you feel better?
I've learned to accept compliments.
Okay.
At first, I used to, and that goes with anything, but in general, compliments, I've learned to accept them.
Okay.
I've learned before, I'd be like, no, stop, like, don't, and then,
so is it like the attention thing, like people bringing attention to you? That was the part
yes,
like,
and I've never liked attention.
I see.
So, and as crazy as it sounds, like ironic of me being in front of cameras all the time, but I don't like attention. I think it's just the fact that being in front of cameras is one thing. It's because you have a passion for what you do.
Yep.
And other people just like to be out there, to have a name and to be exposed to famous, become that. I don't. I just do things because I love what I do. And of course, if you love something, attention's going to come.
Absolutely.
Eventually.
100%.
You know what I mean? But that's never been my motive. Okay. So with compliments on my feet, because that's always something that I was insecure and I'm like, they're not the cutest compared to me seeing other girls with cute feet. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I've learned to accept it because I feel like what I see about myself and my feet, maybe someone perceives it differently.
That part.
Everyone beauties and so I've learned that. Yeah. And those sayings, those quotes, everything I feel like plays a big role in a lot of things, you know what I mean? Because there's so many maybe other girls like me that don't like their feet. But you have to just adapt to that. Like you have to just be okay with your flaws, your imperfections, everything.
Because I think at the end of the day, sometimes you don't realize that like you'll push yourself out of other situations in life.
Yes.
Because it's like, oh, I don't feel comfortable, and so you automatically like retreat as opposed to being like, you know what? Like I feel a little uncomfortable, but let me like see what happens if I push a little bit forward, right?
Of course.
So, it's always interesting. All right, so we took you out, got a pedicure today.
Yes.
Right? How was the experience? Well, I mean, it was from your
salon. Amazing.
Nice.
I mean, it's awesome that I was able to choose the salon. So thank you.
Absolutely.
But I love it. It was amazing. I feel obviously I highly believe that we should pamper ourselves. You know what I mean? Self-care is important. But yeah, it was amazing. I always feel like it's always an amazing experience there. Just the customer service, and it's a luxury. It's a luxury because, as much as we call it self-care, it's a luxury self-care moment. You don't need a pedicure, you know what I mean? You could just probably do it at home and just paint them and whatever, do the basic. But for someone else to do that and pamper you and, you know, give you that, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of just keeps you like, it's a little unstressed, like it distresses you a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's always good.
Mm-hmm.
That's always good. So we now got a pedicure. So always ask this: can we see what your feet look like?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now you can.
I want you to leave your socks on for
Okay.
a moment. Okay, just take your shoes.
Okay.
And then I want you, if you can, put them down flat like this.
Yes.
And we're gonna get an outline.
Okay.
So first of all, what size shoe do you wear?
What size? Size 6 in women.
Does it vary? Heels,
Yes.
anything like that?
It's usually 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, in between there.
Okay. So you're more on the smaller side.
Yes.
It's easier for you to
So
find
it's
shoes.
easier.
Absolutely. I'm always interested in those women who are come up and they're like 9 and they're like 10.
Yeah.
Like, it's always hard to find those shoes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot easier, but it's as easy, but they do sell out quick too.
That's true.
That's the
true.
problem.
Because it's like usually if you're a woman who does wear that size, you're gonna grab a lot of those
Correct.
shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let me get you to put your feet out straight like this, and then put them close together if you can.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, but
Okay.
turn this
Mhm.
right a little bit, and then toes up. Yeah, there we go. And we got on the Van socks. Okay. Cool. Do you match socks, or are you one of those people that's like, I don't really care if like long as the socks are clean?
As long as the socks are clean.
Okay, because I get some people who are like the socks gotta match. I gotta have the same pair. Like,
If it's for the gym,
Yeah.
I do.
okay.
But if it's for just,
So wait a minute, why is it different for the gym?
I'm more of an aesthetic girl at the gym.
Like, somebody might see me in my socks. I
The
want them to know.
first time I went to the gym, I had Nike socks with Adidas shoes, and I got roasted. I was like,
Well, I think that's anywhere. I remember
I was like,
at
no.
my last job, my boss was saying that I was wearing like Puma socks with like Nike shoes. He's like, you can't do that. Like, you gotta be matched. I was like, dude, like
People
that's
take
really-
it serious.
They take it serious.
And then I started taking it
you
serious.
start to, he's like, well, I guess I gotta be on the up and up now. Absolutely. All right, cool. So let me have you now. If you could take the socks off, and then I'm gonna have you put your feet down flat again, and then we're gonna look at the toe alignment that you have because I don't know if you know this. Different people have different toe
Yes, I've
You know that.
kind of learned that along the way.
alignment. Okay, so what is your toe alignment? Do you know what it is?
No,
Okay.
I've just looked it up and I've heard about it. I just
I
don't
think
know
you
much.
have the Roman toe alignment. And the reason why I say that, so your first 3 toes, they're almost the same size,
Okay.
right? So if it's, let's say your bigger toe was like, it was like longer than the rest, that's called the Egyptian. And if that second toe is longer, that's called the Grecian. It's like a Greek toe. So you would have what's called the Roman. And I don't know, do you have any family from like, in that area,
No.
Italy, that may have been from?
Well, my last name's it's Romo. So we're thinking that my dad's side of the family
Could have been
could have
from there.
been like from there.
Maybe they moved, like,
Something like that. Yeah. Like
you
they're
go.
great, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yes,
That's pretty
because
dope.
he has the last name, and I get a lot that I look a little bit Italian,
You do.
Lebanese.
I can kind of get that feel
mix.
from you.
Yeah, so I've been told that since I worked at the mall.
That's dope. That's
Customers
dope.
come up to me like, "Are you
Oh,
Italian?
you're Italian?
Mexican?
Yeah.
Italian?" I'm like, "No, but I could be."
I couldn't even tell. Like, I remember looking at your film.
Like people kind of think I'm like Lebanese, Persian.
I thought you were like a mix or something
Yeah.
like that. Absolutely, for sure. All right, let me get you put your feet back straight. Okay, and then you have a slight arch. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Is it easier for you to wear shoes like heels? Or do your feet hurt from that?
They hurt.
And that's because you have a slight arch. Like, women who I see who have more of a pronounced arch, they tend to, like, not feel it as much.
It hurts.
Absolutely.
I struggle with heels. It is a struggle.
How
And
often do you have to wear heels?
I mean, throughout the week, 4 times maybe the most. And
4
it,
times?
and it can go from 4 to 8 hours.
4 to 8 hours.
During the day. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's pretty rough, man. Like,
it's, I don't know if you can see right here.
Okay.
Okay, right here. So this is the one feet where I struggle and it creates a callus
Oh,
every
I see
time
that. Yeah.
because of my
Your
the
foot
arch.
constantly going down and
Yes.
it's creating that friction right there, right?
So I
Absolutely.
always have to put that little padding there because it hurts. I mean,
Oh, man, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. All right, so this is kind of, we always do like a vanilla version. Like, this is what this is right here. We're going to go ahead and write from this. But here's what I want to get from you. In terms of your feelings, your thoughts so far about the process, we took y'all, got a pedicure. We asked you a few questions about, like, different things on the channel, mental health.
Yeah.
We asked you a little bit about feet. What were your thoughts? How'd you feel about it?
honestly, I love the experience. I love the concept. I love the experience. The person behind the camera, you're
Thank you.
super dope. And like I said, it's for me, I find it to be grateful for the opportunity, because like I said, I would have probably never found out what you did. And I'm a person that I support so many people with their goals and just their visions, you know what I mean? And when you talked about what you're doing, I mean, it's fascinating to learn about the feet. As much as I'm not the biggest feet lover, you know what I mean? But I think it's just like, it's beautiful to know the toes, like, you know what I mean? And the arch and everything. Like, it's just something that we don't usually hear. We're not educated about it. But just the whole experience was amazing. Like, I have nothing bad to say. It's cool to come across people that do things like this. You know what I mean? Like,
I appreciate that.
and it's like it says, the irony is that I've never been into feet, but I'm doing something like
that's what I
this.
was gonna ask you, because my thing is this, right? Do you think you're gonna get more comfortable?
Oh yeah.
Because you came out, you kind of did this, so now you think it's gonna be a little bit more comfortable, because it's like,
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you're gonna get a chance to read all the comments that people are gonna leave for you, and you'll start to see, like, there's a lot of people who will be like, man, that's nice for you. She's, you know, they'll say all these positive things about you, so it should be really good.
And like I said, I have thick skin, so I'd rather.
Get roasted, trust me.
I mean, if it happens, it happens.
Even
If I did, I'm very thankful for the feedback. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think any type of feedback makes you grow. And like I said, I think it's, for me, it's like ironic how before I that was a flaw for me, where I was insecure.
Yeah.
But I think stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm here today to show my feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is a big step for me. So regardless of the feedback, I mean, as long as people enjoy the content and it's transparency and it's enjoyable, you know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like the questions you asked are probably the answers, the way that I answered them, maybe other people can relate, other women, you know? And so I feel like it's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm going to get asked this right now, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out the way. Will you be back?
Of course.
Absolutely.
If you have me back, I'll love it. I'll love to, you know what I mean?
Get you back. I make this a regular thing.
Dope, yeah.
So,
you know, like I said, this is my honest, you know, feedback. I love the experience.
That's dope.
Super dope.
All right, so anybody who's watching, if you're going to ask me that in the comments, you already heard her say she'll be back. So there it is. No need to ask. All right, cool. So thank you so much. We appreciate you coming out. We're going to shoot a little extra content.
Yeah.
You want to say anything to everybody before you leave?
Love your feet.
There it is.
Love them just the way they are, you know? So appreciate them, love them, show them off.
Love it. Love it. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
We'll see you later.
Okay, bye.